I wanted to talk about a post on Reddit that was posted by someone whose name was Wealthy Before 30 and was titled "The Goal of Nagging is the Act of Nagging Itself." This post was written by Rich Before 30. According to him, and I am paraphrasing him here, he has proof that nagging isn't about getting something done. If passing the test is the goal, then the woman ought to feel glad, joyful, and content now that the job has been accomplished. However, rather of being calm and collected, she is furious, puzzled, and frightened, none of which makes any sense. Women won't confess it. However, I'm almost positive that the process of nagging itself is the purpose that it's trying to accomplish. They're just looking for an excuse to converse, which is something that both of them value more than life itself. When you finally accomplish what she's been bugging you about, she's probably going to lose her freaking mind. Because you removed her ability to use it as a reason to talk, you damn devil. The act of nagging is not about a particular activity. It's nothing more than a means for a woman to offload all of her emotional baggage onto another person. There are a lot of women who feel the need to vent their frustrations on males, and because of this, they will find any reason possible to do so. If only men understood that the majority of nagging was just a means for women to use them as an emotional tampon, then they may take nagging less seriously. You get enraged and decide that you no longer want to be with her. And as a result, she wound up hurting herself because she was unable to gradually damage her ego. Your mental health and her mental health are currently engaged in a battle with each other. Put oneself in the position of a woman's purse while wearing boots. And if you needed to emotionally assault someone in order to keep yourself from going insane, you do it too. This is the reason why women detest Kita, and she has so much power. They don't regard it as simply a matter of the freedom and pleasure of men. When you escape the plantation or are no longer coupled, you will no longer be subjected to the aggravation of other ladies. It's the same as if you took the medicine away from a woman who suffers from bipolar disorder. Megasaurus was hunting for males to verbally. If you've seen the third Matrix movie, which is dubbed Revolutions, who con worlds can show you something. At the conclusion of the story, Neo is in Machine City to rescue the citizens from Agent Smith, who has become unmanageable for them. He is yelled at by the machines, which tell him, "We don't need you. Nothing else is required of us." Neo is able to maintain his composure despite the situation since he is aware that they require his assistance. It's for the same reason that I frequently hear women declare, "I don't need a man. I'm a strong, independent woman. The only person who can save humanity is Neo." He possesses the solution and is willing to give up everything for it. Let's examine how this relates to her initial impression of him standing on the bridge. They may not have a bodily need for us. They require our help in various ways. It must be flushed out periodically, otherwise it becomes quite hazardous. In the West, the average number of children born to women was 8 in 1804 and 102 in 2000, and likely only one child within the following century. In the past 2 centuries, women had an average of 8 children. This was due to the fact that women's natural inclination was to nag youngsters so that they would clean up and work harder. Now when women have fewer children, they must maintain their nagging abilities. Therefore, they grabbed the closest man and used him as an emotional urinal. A man's masculinity is his capacity to overcome hurdles and challenges. In contrast, women are identified by their emotional and physical frailties. The dearth of male caregivers prevents women from fulfilling their natural maternity and child-rearing responsibilities. To restore her public confidence, a lady must demonstrate her femininity. As Chris Rock often advises, go for distance and annoyance. They gradually suffocate you with their complaints until you become ignorant and subservient. This is testing behavior, and she wants you to respond verbally. The majority of men, however, fail the test and just concede since it is simpler to give up or withdraw than to fight her. Several of the men I've met who fought back developed strokes, and one of them was required to continuously press a small bell on his wheelchair, similar to that character in Breaking Bad. According to Rich Before 30, if you listen to a woman's nagging, mend yourself, and do what she says, you forfeit the game and are a monster. She will no longer be able to throw all of her toxic feelings on you, because you are complying with her wishes. Women do not wish for you to solve their issues. They simply wish to air their grievances and get them off their chests. They may express a desire for the issue to be resolved. But when you do, they typically discover another, smaller issue that they enlarge and ask you to handle, and so forth. They may tell you they're leaving, but they never do. You can know it's a bluff since they don't carry out their threats if you don't behave in a certain manner. When a woman is nagging, the best response is to ignore her or to do what she wants in a manner that will only make her more important. She desires to enslave you as a beta male. It's an old bait-and-switch scheme. When she tells you that your performance does not meet her expectations, you essentially tell her, "Do you want it done correctly? Do it yourself. I have no time for these ridiculous games. If you dislike the work I'm doing, that is not my problem." Utilize women's passive-aggressive tactics against them. Ensure that they are unaware if you have performed the best job possible based on your skills. From my vantage point, there are only a few responses to a nagging woman: walk away, go your own way, or do as she asks, and you will be a beta dweeb. Be feminine and passive-aggressive, or fight back. And in the long run, suffer a stroke or a heart attack as a result of constant test-taking. I'm not a beta sim, and I will never be a beta sim, even though that would likely be the most logical conclusion given my current circumstances. You're not a beta sim. However, you appear to be grappling with your emotions regarding marriage, and this is a popular viewpoint. It's unclear if you feel this way because you're in an abusive or toxic relationship, or if it's just the general sadness associated with being married. If you're unhappy with your marriage and how things are going, it's definitely a good idea to discuss your desires with your spouse. Even if you don't openly state, "I want to leave," letting your husband know that you'd like to attempt counseling may help him change his mind. However, if you do not know what you want from life and there is no clear solution for your relationship, you should definitely wait a while before broaching the matter. The best course of action is to stop playing her games and either introduce her to someone else or let her damage herself, because she lacks a partner to abuse. If you still want to stay with her, passive aggression is the next best course of action. The alternative beta sim action is to yield to her demands. Contrary to common sense, this will make her like you more, as he will be furious with you for giving in. Society asserts that men benefit from the presence of women. That is like to stating a wild horse benefits from horse training. Because it is a woman's sexual fantasy to break into a man and transform him from a wild horse into a central part body puller, according to society. Women are attracted to the domestication of men. This is the style of erotic romance novel that women are most drawn to. Attained wars are more beneficial to society than roaming the open countryside. I have witnessed this type of deception, and many men have fell for it. In the end, however, everything is the same. If you want to be married for 20 or 30 years, the likelihood is that it will kill you. Early partnerships that last a few years in the West, in which she does not nag but resents you and then quits because of this resentment, are far healthier for you, because you are not always experiencing emotional ups and downs. If you are familiar with women, I would be quite severe regarding these matters. However, do not fool yourself, you are still doomed. You must know how much discomfort and anguish you can endure. This applies to your sister mother as well. If your father dies and your mother is left alone, you must fear that she may attempt to make you her spiritual son-in-law. You may not need to physically care for her. However, you may need to tend to her emotionally when she directs her eyes. To help us, please watch this video. Please subscribe and send this video to anybody you think will benefit from it the most.